Hello, vintage outboard motor fans. This is T-Mike out here on Toledo Bend Lake making another video today. Today's video I'm going to name Good But Not Good Enough. Alright, that's the name of this video. Good But Not Good Enough. I'm working on this restore here for Brooke. It's restore number 161. It's a 9.5 Evinrude 1968, and I got it out here in my test barrel, and it's running good, but it ain't good enough. So I'm going to document what I mean by good and not good enough. When I do these restores, there's different levels of making them run good, and sometimes they run good, but it's just not quite right. It's not good enough, so you got to make it right. And T-Mike does a restore, we take it to the limit and try to make everything right. So if everybody's ready, let's make it good but not good enough. Here we go. All right, so I've made a couple of videos on this motor already for Brooke, and I've sent him the videos so he knows what I'm working on. The first video I made was it had a stuck drive shaft in it. I had to do some modification to the drive shaft to get it pulled out. So I'm going to show you a clip of how I got this drive shaft out. Well, we're getting serious now. I'm going to grind me a place to put my vice grips on it. Success. We got it out, baby. That's how you do it. That's how you remove a drive shaft. The nightmare is over. Look at that drive shaft. Wow. Wow. All right, so once I got the drive shaft out, I replaced it. Well, when I replaced it, the strangest thing, when I went to screw the 4 bolts in underneath of the gear case to the lower unit, if I tightened the bolts, you couldn't pull the rope. It jammed the drive shaft up. If I loosened the bolts, you could pull the rope. So that's number one. It's good. You can pull the rope with the bolts loosened, but it ain't good enough. There's something not right with that power head. Either the drive shaft I put in there is bent, or the power head where the stuck drive shaft was in is damaged. So I overlooked it. I left the bolts a little loose. I brought it out here to run it. Well, sure enough, it wouldn't run unless I kept it choked. So here's the carburetor. All right, that was on it. Wouldn't run unless I kept it choked. So I took the carburetor off of my test 9.5 and put it on there. And it runs unchoked. It runs good, but it don't run good enough. It's not just right. And I'm going to run it for you and show you what I mean. When you start it and let it run, and idle it down, it runs a little rough. But when you kill it, you go back to start it, it doesn't always start unless you choke it again. That ain't right. There's something not right, and so that's problem number 2. I think the problem is going to be the ignition magneto. The spark on it is intermittent. I put my spark checker on and pull it 3 times, I get good spark. Then the 4th time I pull it, I spark on one side, not the other. Then it starts sparking good, then I lose spark on the other side. So there's something wrong with the magneto too. I'm going to take my magneto off of there and put it on there. And probably going to run better. So that's number 3. Number 4 is it cools all right, but it ain't putting out a lot of water, and it's got some steam coming out of it. It's not overheating. I put my power meter on it, and it 165 degrees like it's supposed to be, but it ain't putting out water like it's supposed to be. There's a problem in that gear case. I changed the impeller, but it ain't pumping water like it should. So I got 4 good but not good enoughs to fix, and I'm going to document them. When I do these motors, sometimes you'll have one little problem or 2 little problems to get it going just right, and I don't always document all that, but I decided on this one because it's good. I could easily let it go to Brooke. He'd start up, it'd run. He'd have trouble starting it. It wouldn't pump water right. It'd probably be okay, but if it was my motor and I got it back from a guy doing a restoration and it had these little issues in it, I wouldn't be happy. So I'm not going to let it go. I'm going to make it good, T-Mite good. So here we go with it. So I'm going to start the motor up right now, and I'm going to show you how it runs, give you a look at the cooling on it, how it's not enough water, and give you an oversight on what the problems are with it so we can get it fixed. Here we go. All right, I'm going to start her up. Actually running much better this time, but I should be able to, when I kill it like that, I should be able to give it a little gas in neutral and it should start right up. See? Third pull it tried to start, but it died. It ought to just start right up. I had to choke it for it to start. That's not right. Something not right. It tries to start and then dies. I think if I had to say, it's the magneto, that intermittent spark. When you get it spinning fast enough, the spark will get to going because the flywheel's spinning faster. When it's at pulling the rope, it ain't fast enough. If the spark is kind of iffy, it's not just right. I'm going to take the magneto off and bring it back inside and put it on my test motor and show you how the spark is kind of intermittent. I got to make it right. The other thing is the water that is pumping. I'm going to start it up and give you a view of the water. See how the water is just pouring out? It should be spraying out forcefully. Should be spraying out. It's not overheating, but the water ain't right. So, got a few issues with the motor. I think it's going to be a good one, but I got to get all that corrected. So, I'm going to take the magneto off and bring it inside and check the spark on it and bring it back. See if we can fix that first. Love the lake. It's a dreary December day here. Working on a motor. Here's my test motor, a 9.5 test motor that I'm using parts off of. So let's see if we can get that spark looking better. So here I am checking spark. So what I did is I took my set of calipers and I made me a wood block, 1/4 inch thick. That sets the gap on these here to 1/4 inch. And I checked for spark. And I get spark on this side, which is the bottom. Bottom has spark, top one doesn't at 1/4 inch. Now if I lower the depth and put just a small gap, I get spark on both sides, but this spark is weak and this one's bright. So I got a problem with the top cylinder. When I put that same test on my test mode over there with this 1/4 inch gap set, I get spark on both sides. Here I only get it on one side, so I think I got weak spark. Albeit I got spark, but it's weak. So I'm gonna take her inside and get spark on both sides and then bring her back out. Okay, I've decided to set my points, check my points out here instead of bringing it inside. So the two tools I need are the coil locator ring. I sell both of these on my eBay store and my online store. The coil locator ring, which goes around the outside of the coils. Put it down over the base and line up the coils with the ring. Which makes it line up with the base. That's the distance between the coil and the flywheel. The second tool is the timing tool. Sell this on my eBay store and online. And it's got a T and a B on it. There's the B. And when this gets in between those two lines, the point should open. So you take your meter, put one side to ground, lift your leads off the points, put your meter across it, other side to ground, and move this center point till it gets between those two lines. See how they're closed right now. When I move it in between those two lines, they go open. Okay, so closed, open. And the adjustment for that is right here on this post. This oblong shaped screw moves the points backwards and forwards to get that right there. That opening and closing is the timing of the points. Closed, open. Right, so I got it all set. I'm gonna put the flywheel back on, see if I get good spark on both sides. Running my check now with my 1/4 inch gap, and I have no spark on either side now. Ha! I lower my gap. I have spark on the bottom and not the top. So I definitely have a spark problem with that magneto. I'm gonna pull it off and bring it inside, see if I can fix that. Here we go. Okay, I got my magneto installed here on my test power head where I can pull a rope on it and see what's going on. So I've determined that I got bad spark on the bottom. Okay, so I made me two gap testers. This one's a 1/4 inch. I'll put it in here and pull the rope. I'm gonna get spark on the top, not on the bottom. If I take it out and put in my 1/8 inch gap and pull the rope. I get spark on both, but this side is weak. It's good, but it's not good enough. It's weak and it's intermittent. That's my problem. So I'm gonna set my camera up and I'll show you what I mean by good and not good enough. It needs to be a 1/4 inch gap on both sides. I'll set my camera up and pull the rope so you can see it. Here it is with the 1/4 inch gap spacer in there. See, it's got good spark on the top, nothing on the bottom, with a 1/4 inch gap. Let me pull it again for you. All right, I'm gonna change it and put my 1/8 inch spacer in. Now watch what happens. I get it on both sides, but the bottom is got it, but not good enough. Good, but not good enough. See that on the bottom side? It's intermittent. Intermittent and not good enough, but good on the top. Here we go again. So there's the problem. Good, but not good enough. So it's going to be one of three things. It's going to be the points, the coil, or the spark wire. Points or condenser, coil, spark wire. So I'm going to change one at a time until I get good spark on both sides. Here we go with changing the points first. Okay, I changed out the points. There's the old points and condensers on it. I'll change them out and set them. Let's see if we get good spark. Okay, I changed the points and I got the same thing. Spark on the top, but not the bottom. All right, moving on. Going to change the coil now. Replace the coil. See if that does it. Okay, I changed the coil, and guess what? Watch this. Good spark on both sides. That's a 1/4 inch gap. And you watch that bright, good spark. That's good. That is good enough. Beautiful spark on both sides. So here's the bad coil. Right here. So the only difference between this coil and the coil I put in is across the primary leads I had 2 ohms, and across the secondary lead I had 5,000 ohms on this one and 9,000 ohms on the one that I put in there. So the one, apparently the one with 5,000 ohm puts out a weaker spark and it was intermittent. This one puts out good spark, this coil. So bad coil. So I'm going to put her back on my 9.5 outside and see how she runs. Good job. Job well done. Good enough. Okay, so I got my magneto here. I had a weak coil causing the weak spark and intermittent. I replaced that. I'm about to put it on the motor here and see how it runs, but I've decided that I'm going to end this video. It's going to be episode 1 of good but not good enough. In episode 2, the next video, we'll see how this works on the magneto, and then we'll go to work on the coolant problem. We'll go to work on the running rough problem and all the other problems that are on this motor that are good but not good enough. It'd be interesting to see how long it takes to make it good. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. See y'all next time. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it. If you did, hit the like button and also hit the subscribe button and catch all my videos. You know, my passion are these vintage outboard motors. Johnson and Evinrude, 1950s, 60s, and 70s, 3 horsepower to 18 horsepower. I think I have all the videos, over 500 videos, on everything you need to know to repair, service, and restore your vintage outboard motors. I have all the parts, all the videos, and all the parts manuals for you to do that. I love what I do. The best way to reach me is on my website, tmikesvintageoutboards.com. You go to that website, I have links for everything you need. I have links for all the parts you need. If you don't know the parts you need, there's a link called the Parts Broker where you can fill out the form and submit it to me, and I'll find your part for you. All right. I also have a link for a mail-in repair service where you can ship me your carburetor, your gear case, or your magneto. I'll repair it, video it, put it on YouTube, and ship it back to you. I also have a link for technical consulting. If you have a question, just fill out the link. There's a donation page if you want to help pay T-Mike, and I'll answer your question and get back to you. That's the best way to reach me, is on my website, tmikesvintageoutboards.com. I love what I do. It's been a great ride. And remember, always remember, and never forget, here at T-Mike's Vintage Outboards, we're doing it one motor at a time.